Hey everyone, and welcome to it. That is the Putty Mod YouTube channel. And on the bench today, we got this hot mess. This is really a mess. This is a Ford 8.8 out of an Exploder, and it's going to be retrofitted into a Honda S2000. This is fresh out of a boneyard, as you can see. It is going to be a lot of fun doing a restoration on this thing. It looks terrible. And this flange is really bad. It's like got barnacles on it. It sounds good. It doesn't sound bad, so that's nice. What's going in it is this fresh set of Ford Motorsports 373 ring and pinion gear set, a Ford True Track right there, and a set of bushings from Grands Racing, I guess it is. Well, anyway, of course, all new Ford Motorsport bearings, seals, and etc. are going to be going into this thing. So it's going to be completely brand new on the inside, restored on the outside. It will look nice and perform amazingly well. So all we have to do now is just start getting this thing broke down and see what we got and get it started cleaning it up. It's just, it's going to take a lot, but it should come out pretty good. All right, let's get started. I got this thing flipped up here. I'm getting ready to take all these fasteners out to take the rear cover off. And what you can see here, this is the identification tag that Ford puts on these rear ends. This will tell you what the gear ratio is and things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean that off real quick, and we'll see what this thing was, or is, as it is right now. That's just some brake cleaner, basically. That's what's in that container, solvent. And now we're starting to get the tag exposed here. Keep going at it. Let's see what we got in here. This thing's been, out for a long time, so it's accumulated a lot of grease and grime on it. Let's see. It is a 373. Look at that. Right there, 373. That's the gear ratio that is actually inside here. That's pretty cool. All right, we'll get all these fasteners off and start getting things cleaned up and, disassembled, all that good stuff, and see where we're at from there. All right, we have it opened up now, and I wanted to show you guys, this is the factory pattern. I just put some dye on the gear teeth so you can see what this pattern looks like. And you can see from how the factory set it up, it wasn't exactly the most perfect setup. It's okay. According to the Ford manual, this is an acceptable pattern, but we're going to definitely try to do a little bit better than that. It's got the open carrier in here, open differential. That's why you see those spider gears moving freely like they are with my finger here. Not in bad shape. Even the backlash is, it's got some miles on it. You can hear that. But all in all, not in bad shape. And but we're definitely going to get things a lot tighter. We're going to improve on that pattern. As you know, we're going to be doing a custom install, not like Ford where these things are mass produced by a robot. This is all going to be done old school by hand, so we're going to make sure everything's fitted really nice and get the best gear-to-gear contact pattern we possibly can. And of course, we're going to get a nice tight backlash. We're going to balance this assembly out really well, and it's going to be a much better unit when it leaves here than it came in. All right, I'm in the process of attempting to push out this pinion, and it's not going to go. It is seized up. I'm trying to remove the seal. As you can see, there's a lot of rust, and the seal is being pretty much uncooperative. Normally, I get the pinion out and I push everything from the inside out, and it makes this job so much easier. But since the pinion does not want to come out right now, I'm going to go ahead and remove the seal, get it out of my way. So I got a better look at what's going on in the inside. But what I believe I have is I have rust inside this rear end, since it's a junkyard rear end, and the bearing race inner bearing race of that bearing that you see on the outside here is seized up against the race of the pinion. It's rust seized, so I'm going to try to get it out of there with some penetrating oil. One way or another, it's getting out of there, and this is just part of the perils of doing these things. It's never always, super easy, straightforward. You always end up with little hiccups, and this is one of them. And there it is. Just release that seal there, and go ahead and pull up on the arc ram here. Get that seal out of the way. And you can see all the crud down in there, all the rust and everything. And that's why this pinion is seized up against that bearing. So there's that slinger washer. That's good. We can get that out of there. And yeah. You can see that liquid in there. That's a penetrating oil we use here in the shop. And I'm gonna let it sit in the arbor press overnight. And hopefully tomorrow we'll have some success in getting that pinion out. And it just does not want to go. A couple minutes with this and everything's out. Bobby popped in here and in, I don't know, maybe in a minute and a half, he had that thing freed up with an air hammer, which was perfect. I was thinking about that, but I just wanted to let it sit overnight, but it's done now. I will resume this video tomorrow. I'll get this thing the rest of the way apart. I'll start getting it cleaned up the rest of the way. I gotta get these bushings out as well because we're gonna be putting new bushings in. These are absolute nightmare to get out of these cases. They're meant to go in, they're never meant to come back out. Real pain in the butt, like the Miata ones, but the Miata ones I have a trick for, these not so much. Well, anyway, thanks for staying with us, and stay tuned till tomorrow. All right, we are back with the Ford 8.8, and we are doing bushings right now on this case. As you can see, I got this one partially out. Here's part of each one of them. What we have to do, this is very involved. This is the big boy press. This is, God, I can't even remember how heavy of a press this is, but it's insane. And 60 ton, I believe. Yeah, I believe it's 60 ton. And it was military, and we refurbished it, and it works amazingly well. But there's really no good way of getting these bushings out. Basically, what you're going to do is you have to put a slot in here, cut in a relief cut into the side of that steel case, press out the center rubber, then cut the relief cut, and then from that point start working your way out, getting this bushing out of the case. And it's coming along. It's a long process. It takes time. You have to be very careful. We got safety giggles on and all that stuff. And but I'll get around to the other side next, and then after that we'll finish the restoration on this case and get it refinished. Stand by. There it goes. Ta-da! Now all that mess has to be cleaned up before that new bushing can be installed. And on to the other side. Next! All right, got these bushings out, the factory ones. These are the new bushings that will be going in. Very nice. They're made by this company here. They were supplied by the client. And so we're going to go ahead and install them. Got to lubricate them first. I've got everything cleaned out pretty good in these bushing holes here. I'm going to go ahead and push these in before I finish the case. This way I don't mark up too much of anything and then I can just tape off this stuff. But yeah, they look pretty good, and yeah, look pretty good. All right, the next thing I'm up to is taking these casting nubs off just to give this thing a little bit more clearance under the car. All right, there's our buttons. There's our missing buttons. Cleaned it up nice. Looks good. Now you got some really great clearance. Perfect. All right, we got it to a point where we can clean it one more time, tape everything up, and paint it. Our Our bushings are now pressed into place. We have our clearance modification done. Everything looks really, really good. One more good cleaning, and then we're gonna put some color on it. And we gotta figure out what color we should do it in. That would be something to think about.